I'll send it to you all afterwards. So our focus today is about our posture and our shoulders and chest. So keeping our chest open. So big theme here, looking after your chest. So you will need a block at some point in the class. And it's a good idea to have a strap as well. So I hope you saw my little note for that. So just have it handy for a bit later. It's just a little thing that we're going to do and a good stretch. It's an Iyengar stretch with the strap. So let's come to stand. So just standing anywhere on your mat, finding your feet. So maybe a little rock forward and back on the toes until you feel that your feet are really well grounded, and have some softness in your knees. So don't lock those knees back, and then just relax the shoulders. So just stand here for a moment, trying to imagine that you're sending the crown of your head up to the ceiling, and you really feel that you're grounding your feet into the mat. And then we're going to take a deep breath in through the nose, and we're going to use ha to get it out through the mouth. Ha. So just let it go. Don't make it too strong to start with. So just breathe in and let it out. So you feel when you use this breath, so keep going. You start to feel the sides of your neck and your throat relaxing. And maybe even your shoulders will start to come down as you release with the ha. And then when you've done about 4 or 5, make it a bit more vigorous. So take a breath in. So it'll probably start me coughing, but there we go. Really let it go. There you go. So breathe in and send it out. Don't cough it out like that. Breathe in and send it out. It's quite a strong ah. And as you do it, let your shoulders come down a little bit stronger. So we're really letting go. No tension in your shoulders, your neck, and, you know, towards the base of your skull. It's just quite a nice practice to do. And it's surprising how much tension we do hold in that part of the body. So keeping this stance, we'll let go of that breath now. Just turn the right side of your face as if you're trying to send that cheek up to the ceiling. So it's a little bit of a funny move. And if anybody watches rugby, remember Owen Farrell? Sorry to mention the English rugby player's name, but he used to do a really funny move before he'd stand like that and do the kick. And he'd look up like that with his head. But what you're doing as you send this right side of your cheek up to the ceiling, and you're thinking about your left ear as if it was going to come to your left shoulder, you'll feel a really strong stretch in the side of the neck, and then come back to center. So I'll try the other side. So send this, really think about that movement. I'm trying to lift this cheek and send the left side, the left cheek up to the ceiling, keeping the shoulders down and imagining my right ear is coming towards my right shoulder. So it's quite strong. You can feel it in that neck, and then come back to center. And then just have a little loosen of the neck. You feel the difference, and your neck feel a lot better. I hope you're all agreeing with me, and it's a nice release. Okay, so let's just start to swing our arms. So release them forward and back, and you can make it a little bit bigger as you're doing a little bit of a bounce in your knees. So let go of any tension that you're holding on to, releasing it into the shoulders and the neck and the knees. And then let's add a bit of a twist. So keeping that bounce and just letting the arms fling out. And then you should be feeling nice and free and loose around your shoulders and your chest. Ooh. Not to whack anything with your arms. Well done. So then slow it down and come back to center. So taking your right arm up and reach to the ceiling and reach with your left arm down to the mat. So the opposite stretch. So you're reaching those fingertips away from each other. Take a breath in and release. And then let's release the other side. So breathe in, and then with that exhalation, you're reaching away with your fingertips. Left arm up, right arm down. And then breathe in and release. Have another shrug of the shoulders. And then the last one with our just real focus on the shoulders is float your arms up as you breathe in, and then catch hold of the opposite wrist. And I'm just catching hold of the wrist with my first finger and thumb on the other hand. And take a breath in. So try and keep your ribs down. And take a breath in. And as you breathe out, reach over towards the right. So you're just using this right hand to encourage the stretch on the left side of the body. And then breathing in, back to center. Swap the hands. So now my left hand is around my right wrist. Take a breath in. Keep your shoulders down and relaxed here. So it's tempting to bring them up to the ears, but try and bring them down. Keep those ribs tucked in, and then reach to the left. Oh, such a good stretch. Keep breathing. And bring yourself back upright. Well done. Release the hands, have a little shrug of the shoulders forwards and back. And then one final one for the neck. So this one is the one that we do with our first two fingers, and we just press them, and you come a bit closer. We press them on our chin. So I'm just going to show you from the side. So keep your head and neck in a nice straight line, and just breathe here. Just let this move happen. And then as you breathe out, tuck the chin back towards your neck. So what you're doing here, and you're using your fingers to push and tuck. So it's a funny little tuck movement, and it opens these vertebrae at the back of the neck. This is called the hyoid stretch. So it's really good for any neck tension, and if you get, this forward neck syndrome. And hyoid is it's like a floating bone, like a little bit like a wishbone in a turkey. And that actually, I've watched University Challenge and Mastermind this week, and it was a question on both of them. So hyoid is a good answer for you if you're watching any quizzes. Okay, so that's quite a good one just to keep doing throughout the day. You can do it at any time. And just release the back of the neck. Okay, let's come to the top of the mat. Let's see how we're feeling. Now we're all loosened up. So stand up, straight and tall. Take a breath in, take your hands out wide, reach up and overhead. Take your gaze to your palms. And as you breathe out, dive the hands wide all the way down to the mat. First, Uttanasana. Let's see how that feels. So fingertips or hands to the mat. Bend in the knees. Take a breath in and slide the hands up to the shins. Find that flat back and the crown of the head out in front of you. So taking a breath in here. And as you breathe out, take your hands, your fingertips back to the mat. Find that Uttanasana, forward fold. And then catch hold of your opposite elbows and just have a little sway here. So bend one knee, then the other. Sending your hips up to the ceiling as you allow your elbows to maybe reach a little bit closer to the mat. You're folding forward and releasing the spine. And then take your hands back to the mat and take your feet slightly wider than hip distance apart and slowly sink down into your best squat. It doesn't matter if your heels are off the floor, just find that squat. So we're just starting to open the hips. And then taking a breath here, just release your knees down to the mat, knees wide, toes together, and sit back into extended child's. Reach those shoulders forward, reach the arms, the palms are resting down on the mat. To find that lovely stretch in extended child Balasana. And then taking a breath in, bring yourself back up to all fours. Realign your knees. So from this all fours position, have your toes in the mat, take a breath in. And as you breathe out, lift your knees and your hips, come up to downward facing dog. Just have a little walk of the feet here. Ease in to down dog. Stretching one hamstring and then the other. And then allow both heels to come towards the mat. Doesn't matter if they don't touch. Just send them in that direction. And then take a breath in here. And as you breathe out, take your knees back to the mat, coming back to all fours. Let's do some cat-cows here. So from your all fours position, make sure check your alignment, check your feet are tracking behind your knees. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, just drop in the head, round in the spine, push that mat away from you. Breathe in, breathe out, tilting the pelvis, leading with the chin and the chest. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Coming into cow pose. Breathe in, breathe out. Pushing the mat away. Cat pose. Breathe in, breathe out. Cow pose. We're moving on the out breath. One more set. Breathe in, breathe out. Cat pose. Really feel the shoulders opening here. Breathe in, breathe out. Cow pose. Breathe in, come back to a flat back and slide your legs back behind you. Keep your hands where they are and rest your legs and your hips down on the mat. So coming into cobra pose. Bend the elbows, squeeze them tight against the body as you lift your chest. Cobra pose. Take a breath here. And as you breathe out, release down to the mat. So we're going to come up into either cobra or up dog, your choice. So take a breath in. And as you breathe out, lift the chest away from the mat. Maybe you want to balance on your toes and come up into up dog. Strong on the lower back, so you decide. If it's cobra, that's fine. And then release the knees back to the mat. Release all the way down. Release the chest. And then take a breath in and come up to all fours. Everyone doing okay so far? Yeah, good. So from our all fours, we're going to come into puppy dog pose. So your knees are under your hips and you're going to walk your hands forward until you can release the elbows down to the mat and then release the forehead, or maybe rest your forehead on a block. So puppy dog pose, you can feel this in your shoulders. You can stay here with your hands reaching out along the mat in front. Or if you want to add a bit more, float the hands up behind you with the palms together and just rest your thumbs on the back of your neck or towards your spine. So you'll feel the stretch in your triceps as well. So it's just a nice variation on puppy dog, Anahata Asana. Take a breath here. And then release the hands back down towards the mat. And slowly bring yourself up into all fours. So from all fours, we're going to slide our knees back out along the mat so that we can lower the hips once more and then slide the hands forward into Sphinx pose. So palms are facing down on the mat, fingers are spread wide, and your elbows are under your shoulders. And just gaze forward here. So imagine that there's a zip from your belly button all the way up to your chin. And you're just zipping that up, keeping the front of the chest strong. And see if you can lift out of your shoulders. So don't sink down into the shoulders. Lift up and squeeze the shoulder blades together. And then take a breath in here. And lift your hips and come all the way back to child's pose. Extended child's. Reaching the hands out along the mat. Just take a moment and bring yourself back to all fours. So we're going to do that little sequence once more because it's really nice for freeing the shoulders. Hopefully you'll agree with me. So from this all fours position, and the other thing we're doing it twice is it feels so much better the second time. So toes into the mat, take a breath in. As you breathe out, lift your knees and your hips downward facing dog. See, it's better, isn't it? This time, let's come up onto our toes, really press the toes into the mat. And then as you breathe out, send the toes to face towards the right. So the feet are tracking one behind the other as you swivel the heels over. And then take a breath in, come back to center. So back on your toes, push the toes into the mat, good toe stretch. And then breathing out, tracking the feet one behind the other as you send the heels over to the right this time. And then breathing in, come back to center. And as you breathe out, send your heels back towards the mat. Then take a breath in and breathe out. Take your knees to the mat Coming back to all fours. 3 cat-cows, so take a breath in. Breathe out, round the spine. Breathe in. Breathe out. Cow pose. Tilting the pelvis, leading with the chin and the chest. Slide those shoulder blades together. Breathe in. Breathe out, cat pose. Breathe in. Breathe out, cow pose. Breathe in. Breathe out, cat pose. Breathe in. Breathe out, cow pose. Breathe in, come back to all fours, slide the knees away, coming into cobra. So bend the elbows, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Cobra pose, just gazing forward. Breathe in. Breathe out, lower the chest to the mat. So we're going to breathe in and come up to either cobra or up dog, your choice. Breathe in. Breathe out, lower the knees, lower the chest, down to the mat. And then breathe in as you come up to all fours. So get your knees under your hips, coming back to puppy dog, that variation. Slide the hands forward, drop the head towards the mat. Find that lovely stretch in the arms and stay here or bring the palms together and bring them up towards your spine. So just bending the elbows, bringing the hands behind the head. The thumbs are now touching your spine. Take a breath here. And then as you breathe out, release the hands back to the mat and slowly bring yourself back up to all fours. And then slide the legs back out, slide the hands forward. Sphinx pose. Lifting the chest, zipping up to the front of the body, allowing the shoulders to relax down. We're not doing this. We're lifting the chest and finding that lovely stretch and encouraging the shoulder blades together. And then breathing in, lift your hips, walk the hands back, extended child. So knees wide, toes together, extended child. So hopefully you agree that felt better the second time. And our shoulders are starting to feel a little bit freer. So breathe in, come back to all fours. So we're going to do an interesting stretch now. I know when I use the word interesting, that usually puts the fear in you, but it's quite a good one. So in yoga, we don't have many opportunities to strengthen our hamstrings. We stretch them, but we don't really strengthen them. So what we're going to do is come to all fours, get your block, and then take the block so that it's resting. So you can see the long, the short side, isn't it, of the block, and rest it on the heel. And then the other short side goes up towards your sit bone, and you have to trap it in that position. So I've got it really trapped. So my heel is keeping it, and I sit back and I squeeze it. Okay, so hopefully you've got that. It's quite tricky. And then once it's in place, put your hands back to the mat. Feel my slipping, that's it. And come up to downward facing dog. So one leg straight, one leg bent. So you're really having to squeeze that block to hold it in position. Just be careful that you don't give yourself cramp. So ease off. So can you feel that strength at the back of this hip and into your hamstring? Just having a look at you. It's quite hard to trap it. So get it so that it's just by your heel and then wedge it underneath the hip. So really trap it there before you attempt to come up. That's it, you're giving it a good go. So try it a few times on each side. Once you've got the position and with your clothing, you can, you've got it and you'll be able to do it. So squeeze and then come up to downward facing dog and squeeze that block together. So this really strengthens the hamstring. So it's a funny position for the leg. And we don't do this strengthening move very often. We stretch them when we're in down dog and uttanasana and forward folds. We don't strengthen. So if you think you've done a few on the one side, switch to the other. And see if that feels any different, because one side might feel easier to trap the block as well. That seemed to come up much easier for me. And once you've done that strengthening on the one side, and then you come into this stretch, you can really feel it. Feel it in that hamstring that you squeezed. So just rest when you need to, but just do a few. Make sure you've done a few squeezes on each side. So that is an interesting one, isn't it? I'm just going to do one more on this side. And then come back to the mat and release the block. So let's just have a stretch of both hamstrings here. So hands into the mat, take a breath in. As you breathe out, lift your knees and your hips, downward facing dog. And notice if that felt that you just sort of floated up into down dog. It's a little bit easier. Well done. Just walk your feet all the way to the top of the mat. Come into Uttanasana. Another hamstring stretch. So bend your knees if you need to. Or drop the head towards the mat. And then breathing in, take the hands out wide like an aeroplane. Come up. Lift the arms up and above the head. Hands to the heart center. Whew. Take a breath. So what did we think of that stretch? That was different. You'll have to tell me next week or in the comments. So we're going to do another stretch now with the strap. So get your strap ready and just put it behind your back. And make sure that it's even. So either a yoga strap or a dressing gown cord here, because we need quite a long one. And have it up quite high. And then reaching it forward. So now what you're going to do is throw it over the shoulders. So it's like two straps over your shoulders. So it's dangling down behind your back. So take your hands and grab hold of these two loose straps. Now, ideally, you cross your hands here and cross the strap. If that's making your strap too short, then do it with just the hands just pulling down. But make sure that you've really got the strap on your shoulders. So I've just got enough length to cross it. I'm going to cross it here and then bend the elbows, send them back behind you. So you're lifting your chest. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, just press the hands forward so you can feel how you're encouraging this shoulder girdle to move back and bring the shoulder blades together. Looking at you all. That's it. This good stretch. This is an Iyengar move because Iyengar is quite well known for his use of props. And this is a good one for using our strap. So just hold it for a few moments in this position. It's just really good. It's good for our posture. It's good for shifting your shoulders back. And remember to breathe. Okay, release. Take the instrument of torture away and just have a shrug of your shoulders. Notice how they feel. And then one last little thing, get your block. So what you're going to do is you're going to stand up straight and we're going to take this block, we're going to reach it up and overhead, we're going to take it behind us and we're going to receive it with the other hand. So it's a big circular movement, harder than it looks. And just pass the block up and around and receiving it into the lower hand. See if you can get it going in a nice flowing movement. So your shoulders are going to be really free after all this today. There we are. Well done. Once you've got the pattern, you keep going, try not to hit your light shade like me. You can keep going and think about what's happening with the rest of your body. Are you going like this with your head? So keep your head up nice and tall. Keep your tummy muscles engaged. Well done. So we can discard the block and we can come back to our mats and we're going to see if we can reap the benefits of what we've just been doing by trying our eagle pose. So take a breath in. And as you breathe out, just sink into your knees and then take the weight into the left foot, find your drishti and just lift the right foot away from the mat. You can balance on the toes if you want to. If you can, cross the legs at the thighs and you can leave the toes on the other side. Or if you're feeling really balanced, you can wrap the foot behind you. So sink into that position. Find the strength. So your right leg is wrapped over your left. So as you breathe in, float your hands out in front of you and then cross left arm over right and bring the palms together. So find your drishti for this and try and sit a little deeper. So we're holding an eagle pose, nice open shoulders. And then slowly unravel. Give your legs a little shake, give your shoulders a little shimmy. And let's try the other side, shall we? So I'll go to the side for you this time. So we're going to stand up straight and tall. Relax your shoulders, find some softness in the knees, and then sit into those knees. Take a breath in, lift the left foot, cross it over the right. So you can have the toes out to the side, or you can wrap them behind. Find your drishti. The left leg is wrapped over right leg. Breathe in, float the hands out. Wrap the right arm over the left. And try and sink a little deeper. Keep your tummy muscles engaged. Keep that strength. It'll help with the balance. And breathe. And then slowly come out of it. Brilliant. Good eagles this morning. Well done. So let's finish with a little final stretch of the shoulders. So floating the arms up once more, catching hold of the opposite wrist like we did at the beginning. And as you breathe out, just reach over to the right. Just noticing how this feels compared to when we did it at the beginning. Breathe in back to center. Swap the hands. Breathing out to the left. Breathe in back to center. Take your hands behind you. Interlace your fingers. Stand up straight and tall. Allow the shoulder blades to come towards each other. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, float the arms away. Just breathe in here, holding it in that position for a few moments. Keep your tummy muscles engaged. And then release. And then change the interlace of your fingers. And try it once more. So breathe in. And then breathe out. Float them away. So standing up straight and tall here. Relax the shoulders down. And then release. Little shrug of the shoulders. Sink down to the mat. They'll come down into all fours. And then come down onto your chest. Place one hand on top of the other. Rest your forehead down when you come into crocodile. So take the heels in towards each other, toes out to the side. And just take a few breaths here. Ease out those shoulders. Letting go of any tension. And then turn and look towards your right elbow. So you're resting the left side of your face. And as you take a breath in, just bend the right knee and bring it up towards your right elbow. Gaze into your right elbow and your right knee. Gliding it up the mat here. Take a breath here. And as you breathe out, slide the leg back, turn and face to the left. So the right side of your face on your hands. And as you breathe out, slide the left knee up. Take a breath here. And everything settle. All your work is done. And slide the leg back. And then just roll over onto your back. Grab your blanket. Set yourself up for your Shavasana. So find your Shavasana lying out on the mat. Hands alongside your body in a gentle V. Palms facing up. Just allow those shoulders, particularly your shoulders today, to rest down into the mat. Taking a few moments here to release any tension, anywhere where you're holding on. Just allow it to let go. You can use your half breath as we did at the beginning. So taking a breath in through the nose and gently releasing it with a, so not forcefully or vigorously as we did before. Just let it out. Breathe in through the nose and let it out through the mouth. So you can do a few more of those. You can just let your breath return to normal. Just allowing your body to relax from the top of your head, your neck, your shoulders, your arms and your hands. Being aware of your back body, letting it sink into the mat. Releasing your hips, your legs, your knees, your ankles and your feet. And just give yourself these few moments of relaxation before you start your day. And I'll say thank you and namaste and see you next week.